Hello all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be talking about UWQ Universal Work Queue in advanced collection. So before we proceed further, first of all, we need to understand what is UWQ and the significance of UWQ. Universal Work Workflow Queue is a screen which shows the details of all the delinquent customers, delinquent transactions, broken promises, related to a particular collector. So for all those collector is generally assigned to a particular customer. So for all the customers which are linked to a particular collector, for those collectors, this particular screen gives the details of all the delinquent transactions, broken promises, and delinquent customers. It will not show the details of all other normal transactions, that is which are not delinquent transactions. So when I say delinquent is nothing but the transactions which are not paid on time. Okay, now let us see how the UWQ screen looks like. Navigate to your collections agent responsibility. So in my current example, I'm in collections agent Reliance Telecom responsibility. Reliance Telecom is my operating unit. Collections work queue. So this is how your collectors work queue looks like. Here you should be able to see if we have any kind of strategy work items that will be coming up here. Broken promises, delinquent accounts, broken promises. This is the broken promises account, that is the name of the customer, and this is the broken promises delinquent transactions. So it's basically all those broken promises for this particular customer are actually showing up here. Okay, now when I say broken promises, what are broken promises? There is something called promise to pay, which I have explained the significance of promise to pay in my previous video, which is the Oracle Advanced Collections Part 3. So if a payment transaction, if the promise to pay transaction is entered with the say date of say 3rd of April, saying that customer will make a payment of particular invoice for an amount of say $10,000, and if on or before April 3rd, if the payment is not made, then that particular payment will be treated as a broken promise. So in this example, I have a list of around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 broken promises. So that means there are 8 promise to pay transactions which are not paid by the customer on or before the promise to pay date, and hence these are considered as a broken promises. So those broken promises are coming in this screen. So okay. So and the next one is the delinquent transactions. So these are all the list of transactions for this particular customer which are not paid and hence on due date, and hence these transactions become a delinquent transaction. So all the delinquent transactions are coming up in the screen, and here you will be able to see the count. Okay, so now what I'll do is okay, now what I'll do is, like, here you can see there are 8 broken promises. There is another promise to pay transaction which is entered against this particular customer, and it is not yet broken. Now let us see that particular transaction, how you can make that particular promise to pay as broken. ABC Holdings Private Limited. So let's go to collections. Query for that particular customer. ABC Holdings Private Limited, and go to history. Search for promise. Here you will be able to see all the list of promise to pay transactions against this particular customer. And here you can see promise broken or not. So if you take the first one as an example where the promise is not broken, so that means uh, this particular promise to pay transaction Okay, let me see. Where is the promise date? So this in this example, this is a promise where this particular transaction says that there is a promise to pay transaction against this particular invoice number for an amount of say $10,000, and the promise to pay date is actually 2nd of April. There is a date. Yeah, 2nd of April. Today is 5th of April, but still this particular promise to pay transaction is not broken. The reason being, once the once this particular so in this example, the promise date is 2nd of April 2020. So after that particular date, I should run a program called IEX promise reconciliation. Only once the IEX promise reconciliation program is run, this particular promise will become broken transaction. So in this being a testing environment, I did not run the particular program. Now let me run the particular program. Once I run the particular program, you should be able to see the promise broken as yes. In general, in a live environment, that particular program is scheduled to run on a daily basis. So in this example, after 2nd of April 2020, if I run the particular program, promise broken will be yes. And now see here, there's one more transaction with the promise date as 11th of April. So even though I run the particular program today, this promise broken will be still blank for this particular record. Now let us see. Let me run that program. IEX promise reconciliation. Just leave the operating unit blank. We'll run for all the OUs, but currently we are focusing on Reliance Telecom. Okay, it's completed. Now let us requery that customer ABC Holding, ABC Holding Private Limited. Go to history, search for that promise to pay transactions. Okay, we were looking for this particular promise date of 2nd of April, promise amount 10,000. See, you can see promise broken is yes. And for the other transaction of 11th of April 2020 promise to pay, the promise broken is still blank. The reason being, it's still not broken promise. So once you run this particular program on or after 11th of April 2020, this particular promise broken will be yes. So this is how your promise to pay transactions will be broken. Okay, and so now let's go back to collections workbench. See, earlier the broken promises delinquent were 8. Now it is showing 9 because we have run the IEX promise reconciliation program, and then this particular transaction has become broken. Now, okay. Now see here under my task, there are totally 9 count of my task, and under this you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 broken promises, and one is the call customer task. Okay, now there is a program called IEX create dunning and broken promise callback transaction callback. So once you run this particular program, automatically the broken promise, whatever or the promise to pay transaction which is broken, for that particular transaction, automatically a callback task will be created for this particular customer. So when I say callback, it is basically kind of a task which is created against that callback, saying that you need to call back the particular customer, saying that there's a particular broken promise and when he's going to actually make the payment for that particular invoice. So remember, this universal workflow is basically all the follow-up which needs to be, it shows the details of all the transactions wherein a collector needs to follow up with the customer. So here you can see already I ran that particular program, and hence it has created a task for each of those broken promises. Now I'll run the particular program again now. So for the latest promise to pay transaction which is broken, for even for that particular record, system should create a one task here. Okay, now let me run that particular program. IEX create dunning and broken. IEX create dunning and broken promise callback. Wait for this program to be completed, and once this is completed, go navigate back to the universal workflow, and you should be able to see a task which is being created for the recent broken promise transaction. Okay, see now there are, looks like there are even other broken promises as well, and hence system has created the callback transaction for those broken promises. So earlier the broken promises were 8. Now you can see the broken promises, I think it increased to 12. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. See here you can see there is other customers as well. So our broken promises which was created and which is creation date, it is created today. So it could be one of these. I don't know whether it put your cursor here. It's not showing the amount. Okay, anyways, it's basically one of those new record which was created, or the record which is created with the date of 5th of April 2020. So it's one of these three. Okay, or one of these. Okay, so this is the details of the broken promises account, which is nothing but the customer account of those broken transactions and delinquent. And basically, obviously, if a customer has broken a promises, he has not made the payment on due date, and if he has not made the payment on due date, based on the scoring engine, system will make the particular customer as delinquent. Of course, I'm not getting into the details of the strategies and the scoring engine in this video. Maybe I'll try to cover that in my future videos. And this is basically a list of all the broken promise transactions. So here you should be able to see the count as 9. Yeah. And then these are all the list of other delinquent transactions. So remember, broken promise are different from delinquent transactions. Delinquent transactions is all the invoices which are not paid on or before the due date. And these are the task. Task is basically a follow-up which needs to be done by the collector. So as soon as the collector comes to office, the first thing what he need to do is he need to actually get into this universal work queue or collectors work queue. So the collectors work queue gives the details of all the follow-up which needs to be done by the collector. So here if you're using the functionality of the service request cases and tickets, even those things will also come up in the screen. So again, I'm not getting into those details. So this is a different concept within the collections workbench. So whatever the service request cases or tickets allocated or assigned to the particular collector will come in this particular screen. So this is basically a single workbench which will give the details of all the follow-ups which needs to be done by the collector in collections in advanced collection. So this is the screen which he opens once it comes to the office. Now let me get into the details of the tasks. So there are different kind of tasks. So there will be one task which will be automatically created by the system for all the broken promises. So if you look at this, like this is basically a task which says that a customer is the collector needs to call the customer saying that this so and so particular transaction is broken. Okay, now look at basically 13, right? So let us assume he has actually called the customer and the customer has actually confirmed that he's going to make a payment on so and so date. So maybe if you want to close this particular task, so from a collector perspective, he has done the follow. So you just say follow done with customer. status, close, apply. So says 13, right? Okay, now let us see what will happen if I click on apply. Okay, so that's already closed. Now let me close this screen and then reopen. See, here you can see earlier it was 13, now it is showing 12. So that is how like you make a concerned follow-up with the customer and close this particular task. So once you close this particular task, you will be able to see only the open task or open follow-up activities under that particular collector. Okay, so these are the system generated what do you call task created under the particular collector. Now, if you want to manually create a task, let us assume you want to do a manual creation of the task. So go to collections. In general, these particular tasks are actually created by the collections manager and assigned to a collector, or even the collection agent can also create this task. Okay, go to task. So here you can see that again, in this particular customer, you have different tasks. In general, all these tasks should be related to Varaganti Arvind, because Varaganti Arvind is the collector against this particular customer. But there are some tasks which we can assign for some specific business reason to other collector as well. So if you do that, then these particular tasks will not be appearing under Arvind's collector workflow. So now let me try to create. So that is the reason why if you observe, like this was not appearing in our earlier universal workflow. Now let me try to create a new task here. So new task could be meeting a customer. Owner type is employee and owner is Varaganti Arvind. Personally meet the customer on April 10th, 2020 to have discussion about uh, open transactions against this customer. Let me save this. Okay. Now go back to UWQ, your characters work queue. You can see meeting with the customer. Okay. The task is not appearing here. Yeah, sorry, it's appearing here. Yeah, meeting with the customer. And once the particular meeting is completed with this customer, so the agent will come back to this particular screen, enter the comments, and then change status to closed and click on apply, and then this will be disappearing in this collection work. So this is how you can see that the tasks which are created in the collections workbench will be appearing under this universal work. Okay, but there are a lot of other things which you need to understand before you actually see like how the data gets appearing in this universal work queue. The first thing is, in any fresh implementation, this UWQ or universal work queue will get populated with the consent data only once you run the IEX populate UWQ summary table. So you need to run this particular program. It's a one-time program, or I mean, when I say one-time program, this is a program for you need to run initially for the first time. So this program updates IEX DLN UWQ summary table program. Only once this program is run, the data shows up in UWQ. So in a fresh implementation, this is the first step which you need to do. You need to run this particular program. This program picks up the OUs from MO security profile option value. So let me show you that particular program. Close this. IEX UWQ summary. Okay. IEX populate UWQ summary table. So here you can see from date I'm running this particular program on a daily basis, or like roughly once in a while. So I'm actually the from date is automatically getting populated, but if you run it for the first time, your from date will be blank. Okay, truncate will be, you can just say no. So truncate is basically truncate the entire table and recreate. Include contact details as just say yes, and run this particular program for the first time. Let us assume you run this particular program and uh, say first of sorry, say maybe 2nd of April. Okay, and the next time when you run this particular program, automatically this particular program from date will be populated second of April. So that means first time when you run, you need to run with from date as blank, so that it is going to run from all the previous days up to that particular date on which you run this particular program. So in my current example, I ran this particular program on 1st of April. So that means this particular table is updated with all the data from all the previous dates up to 1st of April. Now I did not run this particular program since 1st of April, and hence from date is automatically populating as 1st of April. So now I'll run it with 1st of April 2020. Once this particular program is completed, if I again go back to the same this particular submit request for this particular program, you'll be able to see from date as 5th of April once this is completed. Because system is actually, if it is run up to 5th of April, the next time it will run again only from 5th of April. So because there is actually that the date will be actually stored in a table, and then it will run from that particular date. Okay, looks like the screen is frozen. Let me close and reopen. Maybe open. Of course, we have submitted the program, so hopefully that should have been completed by now. Let me clear cache and cookies and then try to open. Navigate back to your collections agent responsibility and check if the program is completed. Yeah, IEX populate UWQ summary table is completed. Now, if I again rerun the program, you will be able to see that from date is 5th of April 2020. Okay. So again, the operating unit is basically, it's actually grayed out. The reason being this particular program is actually picking up all the operating units from the MO security profile option. So even though you do not use the MO security profile option in your live environment, you should ensure that as far as running of this particular program is concerned, you should assign a value of MO security profile to that particular responsibility under which you run this particular program, because it is actually picking up the all list of all the OU from the MO security profile. If you do not assign any MO security profile, then it will not be able to pick up any OUs and run this particular program. Okay. So basically, I mean, I mentioned that you need to run this particular program only once you run this particular program. Your color UWP, that is universal workflow, the what you call screen gets updated with the concern data. But this particular IEX DLN UWQ summary table is, the name itself says it's summary table. It's picking up the data from so many different tables. So the first thing is this particular program picks up the data as follows. So first thing is, as far as the credit summary data is concerned, it picks up the data from ARTRX balance summary table. So in order to get the data populated in this particular table, ARTRX balance summary table, you need to do a couple of things again. You need to set the profile option AR allow summary table refresh as yes, or maybe are always at a site level or receivables application level. Receivables, not the collections. So in my current case, I have set it as yes against the receivables application level. And once you do this, then you need to run this particular program, refresh AR transaction summary table. This program updates ARTRX balance summary table initially, and as and when the balances are created or paid up, the existing workflow business event should update this particular table. So again, in any implementation project, first you need to run this particular program once. This one refresh AR transaction summary table, okay, and that program is going to update this particular table, and this particular table is used by this particular program. Okay, again, this particular table which is populated by this program gets the data from so many different tables, and out of so many different tables, this first table. And in order for this particular table to get updated, you need to set this particular profile option and run this particular program once. So once you run this particular program, this will be updated, and there are existing workflow business events which should take care of updating this particular table on a regular basis if those business events are enabled. So these are the business events. You need to go to your workflow administrator web applications, this menu, and then query for this business event. So in general, this will be an enabled study, but just to be safe side, you need to double check in your live environment. So these are all the business events which needs to be enabled. Only once these particular business events are enabled, this particular table will get updated on a regular basis. Okay, so that's the first table. And next thing is the your this particular program, this particular table gets the data from this table, and then it's going to get the TCA data from HC parties and HC contact points table. Again, you need not do anything for these particular tables. Delinquency information comes from the IELX delinquencies all and IEX promises table. And in order for these tables to be get updated, you need to run these three, or rather these two programs: IEX scoring engine harness and IEX promise reconciliation. So delinquency information is basically picked up from this particular table, and broken promise information is picked up from this, are being updated by this particular uh, program. So you can see that this is a IEX scoring engine harness. So this is a request. This is to request a transaction scoring engine to score invoices and then create delinquencies. So there is a different scoring engine concept. Again, I'm not getting into those details. So once you run this particular program, we can, depending on the setup, whatever you have done, system creates a score against particular invoice and a customer, and then create a delinquencies. So this should be run with the scoring engine of. So when you run this particular program, there is a scoring engine parameter you need to run with the scoring engine of say 2 in order for the system to create the delinquencies for the invoices. IEX promise reconciliation, which you have seen that this particular program checks the promises and update the status to broken if the required payment is not received on or before that particular promise to pay date. If on or before that promise to payment date, if somebody has created a receipt against that particular invoice, then that particular promise to pay transaction will not be considered as a broken. It will be considered as a broken only if the payment is not received on or before the promise to pay transaction. So in my current example, I've shown you one promise to pay transaction of 11th of April. So on or before of 11th of April, if I try to create a receipt in the system against the particular invoice, and that will not be considered as a broken even though you run this particular program. And IEX create dunning and promise broken promise callbacks. Again, this particular program is going to create the task the broken for the broken promises. Again, if you are using a strategy work item, so strategy work item information comes from IEX strategy and work item tables. So and for that, you need to run this IEX strategy management program. So basically, before you run your what do you call IEX populate UWQ summary table program, you need to actually run all these programs. So system Oracle is already given a predefined request set which contain all those programs in a sequence. Okay, IEX promise reconciliation, IEX scoring engine, IEX strategy management, and again IEX per scoring history table is may not be required. Yeah. So you need to run this request set. Once this particular request is completed, then only you need to run your IEX. Then only you need to run your IEX populate UWQ summary table program. So ensure that in your live environment, schedule this particular request set once on a daily basis. And once that is done, maybe schedule this particular request set. So let us assume if this particular request set is scheduled daily night, it's 11 p.m. Maybe try to schedule this particular program at say 11:30 p.m. Okay. And the last important thing is UWQ shows the data in functional currency. Obviously, the invoices are created in different entered currencies, but this particular UWQ shows the data only in the functional currency. It doesn't show the invoices in the entered currency. And for all those invoices which are in different entered currency, system uses the IEX default exchange rate profile option value for converting those numbers into functional currency. So in under IEX default exchange rate type, you specify the exchange rate type, whether it's a spot exchange rate type or a corporate exchange rate type. And on that particular date, when you actually open your collections performance at UWQ, it converts all those numbers into the functional currency using the exchange rate date of the particular date and exchange rate type of the profile option value, which is assigned under IEX default exchange rate type. And the UX shows only delinquent transaction. If the transaction is not delinquent, then it will not show. It will show only the delinquent transaction. It will not show all of the normal transactions. And these are all the important profile option values: IEU Q account view delinquencies, IEU Q account view promises, IEU Q account view strategies as yes. So if you do not set it as yes, then you will not be able to see this value. If you do not set it as yes, then you will not be able to see this delinquent or broken promises. So let us similarly, there are two more profile options: IEUQ delinquency view delinquencies, IEUQ delinquency view promises. So you need to set all these particular profile option value as yes in order to see these items. So based on these particular profile option values, you are able to see these things. Remember, like here I have assigned a profile option value of IEUQ account view delinquencies, but you have similar profile option value of IEUQ customer view delinquencies, IEUQ bill to view delinquencies. If you remember in one of my previous video and explained that there is one of the setup in the collections setup checklist where you specify at what level you are actually maintaining your collections, whether it's an account level or a bill to level or your customer level. So in my setup, I have set it as account level. So that is the reason why I need to assign the profile option value at an account level. But if you have set your under your collection setup that your collections level is at the bill to, then you need to set this particular profile option value at the bill to level. Okay, let me show you that particular uh, setup checklist, whatever I'm referring to. Collections administrator setup checklist. I think it should be under. Let me go to the operation setup. Yeah. At what level does your organization do business with customers? So I mentioned it as account. As I mentioned it as an account, I'm specifying this particular profile option value as yes under an account. So let me show you the other profile option value. You'll be able to see similar profile option value for account, the customer, and as well as the bill. Go to your system option, system administrator responsibility, profile options, and then actions com, and then my profile option is IEU. If I take one profile option as an example, IEU Q account view delinquencies. Okay. So here you can see IEQ bill to view delinquencies customer view delinquencies, account view delinquencies. So I set it as yes for IEUQ account view delinquencies because my collections is at the account level. For bill to view and customer view, you can leave it as blank, but I've just set it as no because somebody set it as yes at a site level. So that's the reason why I set it as no. But otherwise, you can leave it as blank as long as at a site level it is blank. Okay. Similarly, you have similar profile options for say IEUQ account view promises. IEUQ view promises. See again, IUQ account view promise is yes set for account. For bill to view and customer view, I've set it as no, or you can leave it blank if the value is blank at the site level. Okay. Now for IUQ account view promises, I set it as yes, right? So let me set it to say no. Go back to your universal workflow or work queue and see what happens there. Okay. See, you are not able to see that broken. What did we set it as yes? Earlier there were 5, now it is showing only 4. So what if we set it as yes? Sorry, no. I think we have set it as account view promises as no. So that is the reason why there is one more menu work item menu which is not appearing here. Earlier it was 5 and it is showing only 4. I think that was broken promises account. So that's not coming up here. So now let me set the profile option value back to yes, and then you will be able to see 5 work items. Okay, whenever you try to close this particular form, it's going to ask the reason for what exactly is the break reason why you want to close this particular form. Okay, just say select anything else, anything maybe afternoon break or end season or lunch or maybe other work. IUQ IUQ account view promises. So this is what I've set it as no. So now let's yes, and then go back to your collections agent responsibility and let's check. Okay, now you can see the 5 work items. So broken promises account was not appearing here because we have set it as no. Now it is actually appearing here because now we set it back to yes. So this is how you actually play around with these different profile option values. Once you set your profile option value, you'll be able to see this. Again, you have similar kind of different profile option value. If you do not want to see, let us assume in your client you are not using this service request or case and task ticket, then there are some profile options. You can enable those profile or disable those profile option values. Once you do that, then these 3 things will not be appearing in your universal work queue. Okay. So this is about your universal work queue. Thanks for watching my video. For interesting videos on Oracle financials, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.